Hi, my name is Kathy Hyzy, and I am one of Milwaukee's city council members. I joined council in 2018, and I am delighted to be asked to join the featured readers series. A little strange to be doing it this way, but I'm glad to participate, and I have a great fondness for Milwaukie and the poetry series in general. That was my first introduction to Milwaukie. Before we even lived here, I would come to readings at the Pond House. So now here I am. And I wanted to start off with a poem by Louise Erdrich. This is a poem that I love, and it is hung on our refrigerator in multiple houses and on walls, and it's been a big part of my life. Louise is known more for her novels than her poetry, but she does write poetry. And she is an enrolled member of the Chippewa, which I believe is the Anishinaabe people. And I like to honor the voices of the First People by having someone go first. So this is advice to myself. Leave the dishes. Let the celery rot in the bottom drawer of the refrigerator, and an earthen scum harden on the kitchen floor. Leave the black crumbs in the bottom of the toaster. Throw the cracked bowl out, and don't patch the cup. Don't patch anything. Don't mend. Buy safety pins. Don't even sew on a button. Let the wind have its way, then the earth that invades as dust, and then the dead foaming up in gray rolls underneath the couch. Talk to them. Tell them they are welcome. Don't keep all the pieces of all the puzzles or the doll's tiny shoes in pairs. Don't worry who uses whose toothbrush or if anything matches at all, except one word to another or a thought. Pursue the authentic. Decide first what is authentic, and then go after it with all your heart. Your heart. That place you don't even think of cleaning out. That closet stuffed with savage mementos. Don't sort the paper clips from screws, from saved baby teeth, or worry if we're all eating cereal for dinner again. Don't answer the telephone ever, or weep over anything at all that breaks. Pink molds will grow within those sealed cartons in the refrigerator. Accept new forms of life and talk to the dead, who drift in through the screened windows, who collect patiently on the tops of food jars and books. Recycle the mail. Don't read it. Don't read anything except what destroys the insulation between yourself and your experience, or what pulls down or strikes at, or what shatters this ruse you call necessity. I often need that reminder. The next poem is by Wisława Szymborska. She's a Polish poet. She died in 2012. I'm half Polish, so I wanted to share a little bit of there's this unique flavor that Polish voice has that is kind of quirky, and I just love it. And this poem and the next are both about light, which I'm always really struck by the quality of light this time of year, so I'm thinking about it a lot. This is called Sky. I should have begun with this. The sky. A window minus sill, frame, and panes. An aperture, nothing more, but wide open. I don't have to wait for a starry night. I don't have to crane my neck to get a look at it. I've got the sky behind my back, at hand, and on my eyelids. The sky binds me tight and sweeps me off my feet. Even the highest mountains are no closer to the sky than the deepest valleys. There's no more of it in one place than another. A mole is no less in seventh heaven than the owl spreading her wings. The object that falls in an abyss falls from sky to sky. Grainy, gritty, liquid, inflamed, or volatile, patches of sky, specks of sky, gusts and heaps of sky. The sky is everywhere, even in the dark beneath your skin. I eat the sky, I excrete the sky. I'm a trap within a trap, an inhabited inhabitant, an embrace embraced, a question answering a question. Division into sky and earth, it's not the proper way to contemplate this wholeness. It simply lets me go on living at a more exact address where I can be reached promptly if I'm sought. My identifying features are rapture and despair. That's from her collection View with a Grain of Sand, which I think is what she won the Nobel Prize for Literature for. The next poem is by Adrienne Rich, who is an American poet who died in 2013. She was a lesbian, an out lesbian. She had a fascinating life. She is of Jewish heritage, and she wrote a poem called Dark Light in 1988 to 1990. That's in An Atlas of the Difficult World. And it's actually the second half of the poem that I wanted to share. When heat leaves the walls at last, and the breeze comes or seems to come off water or off the half-finished moon, her silver roughened by a dark blue rag, this is the ancient hour. Between light and dark, work and rest, earthly tracks and star trails, the last willed act of the day and the night's first dream. If you could have this hour for the last hour of your life. And finally, I wanted to share a poem that I love so much that I have it hanging on my wall, or will someday. I'm not very good at getting things up, but I did get it framed. It's a broadside of a poem by Alison Hawthorne Deming. She is, I think, still Arizona-based, but she has spent quite a bit of time in the Pacific Northwest, and she is a descendant of Nathaniel Hawthorne's, and writes a lot about place. In fact, she's probably another one of those people who is more known for her essays than her poems. But this is In Spring, Drift Creek. And if you know the Oregon Coast Range, you know that there's many drift creeks, or at least several drift creeks. I don't know which one she was writing about, but I think it was one of those. Walking into the hemlock forest, a place where men years ago had left their work of notching platforms into giant trunks where they stood in teams to saw, we found soft hulks of long dead timber rotting back into the earth with a fragrance as honest as rain. We found oyster mushrooms and peeled them from the licheny bark of alders. It was a place where beavers had changed the way water moves over land, where an otter drew a gentle whirl on the pond's canvas, where elk had left the imprint of their strength in the duff. We were still there when the rain began, freckling the standing water and making the young skunk cabbage leaves shine as if at the opening of a new world. And now I am holding that stillness to give it back to you. Because the truth is, so much of the world is broken, and I want to be part of its healing. That's it. Thank you so much.